Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Channels Television celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting. Let's take a look at some of the pictures that were sent in to us. And the first one we have is this one from Bauchi-Gombe Highway showing gully erosion. Our eyewitness reporter calls on the government to look into this. And here's a picture of a gridlock. It's from Asaba-Onitsha Expressway. Our eyewitness reporter says the gridlock has persisted due to the bad state of the road, and he's calling on the government to do something about it. Another eyewitness reporter is urging the government to find a lasting solution to the flooding problem in Nasarawa State. Next is this picture of a bad road in Isoko South in Delta State. Our eyewitness reporter wants the government to repair the road. And let's end with this one from Carter Bridge here in Lagos State. Our eyewitness reporter is calling the attention of traffic wardens to risky behavior like this. Thanks a lot for your pictures, and we ask you to please keep them coming. There's no evidence to confirm the allegations of sexual misconduct made against 3 lawmakers of the House of Representatives, and that's according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jeffrey Onyama. The minister put forward this position when he appeared before the Joint House Committee investigating the matter.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs arrived in the venue of the investigative hearing in the House of Representatives. A House committee is investigating allegations of sexual misconduct against 3 members of the House by the United States Ambassador to Nigeria, James Entwistle.
He pointed out...
The minister says he met with the ambassador on the matter.
But the point he is making is that he felt an obligation to bring to the attention of the Speaker that such allegations were made. He's not saying whether they are true or whether they are not, but he talks about the kinds of impression that could be created through those kinds of allegations.
But he was interrupted by this face-off between the co-chairmen of the Joint Committee.
We want the truth and nothing but the truth coming from him based on the interaction. Please administer oath on him. Can you do that now?
Chair,
Ethics. Administer oath on him. Let me have it.
Allow him to do it. Don't worry. No, it doesn't matter. You can do it.
That was resolved, and it appeared all was good again. Until this happened.
Can I ask you a question, presiding officer, please?
I think every member will be given opportunity to ask questions.
I am... Honorable Minister, Your Excellency.
The minister then continued with his address.
A lot of this, before I met the ambassador, which is why I summoned him, I was reading all kinds of things in the newspapers, you know, and the assumption was that there were all kinds of, very strong evidence, maybe closed-circuit television and recordings and so forth, and, maybe DNA here and there. So I was surprised that, in fact, the main complainant or alleged complainant was not even willing or refused to testify when approached by her own government.
The Joint Committee says it will ensure it completes the mandate given to it by the House and submits its report as soon as possible. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
The crisis rocking the Benue State House of Assembly has taken a new turn as a faction of the 30-member House today suspended the lawmaker representing Logo State constituency, Mr. Kester Kenge. The suspension of Mr. Kenge came shortly after the bill prohibiting open grazing of cattle by herdsmen across the state passed second reading on the floor of the House.
Rowdy scenes from Tuesday's sit-in at the Benue State House of Assembly, following attempts by Mr. Kester Kenge to speak on point of order while the votes and proceedings of the previous sit-in were going on. Mr. Kester and other PDP lawmakers convened a press briefing where they accused the House leadership of complicity in the 750 million naira car fraud. When the House reconvened on Thursday, the majority leader moved a motion to suspend Mr. Kester for 5 months for misleading information. In the heart of it all, some lawmakers called for the matter to be investigated by the State House Committee on Ethics.
We are supposed to first and foremost set up a committee to investigate into the allegations, first and foremost, before we accept them. As my members are citing this relevant provision, I'd like us to take a precautionary measure.
The House was divided on the motion to suspend Mr. Kester and the counter-motion to investigate the matter through a voice vote that was unclear.
Those in favour that Honourable Taylor Kesekinge of Logo State constituency should proceed on a 5-month suspension, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The voices are quite similar.
The Speaker then put a motion to vote by a show of hand. The majority had the day.
The resolution of this House overrides any provision of the standing rules, and as such, the members that stood for the motion that Honourable Kesekinge should proceed on a 5-month suspension have carried the day.
The last may not have been heard over this crisis, as the State Assembly has been awash in a leadership crisis between the ruling APC and the opposition PDP lawmakers.
And from Benue, we cross over to Abuja now. Here's Yemisi Hikpai. Yemisi.
Good evening, Njoma. Great having you with us here in Abuja, the nation's capital. There's been a major reshuffling of the leadership of the Senate committees by its president, Dr. Bukola Saraki. Senator Kabiru Marafa has been appointed chairman of the Petroleum Downstreams Committee. Until his present appointment, he served as chairman of the Senate's Committee on National Population. Wife of the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Remi Tinubu, has been named chairperson of the Committee on Environment. She previously headed the Committee on Women Affairs. In addition, Senator Sulaiman Hunkuyi is now in charge of the Committee on National Identity. Dr. Saraki made the announcement shortly before the Senate adjourned today. Former chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation, Abdul Mumin Jibrin, has come out to protest against the manner in which he was relieved of his position in the House. In a statement which is in sharp contrast to his calm acceptance of his removal yesterday, the former chairman said Speaker Yakubu Dogara's statement that he was removed is a complete misrepresentation and a calculated attempt to bring his name into disrepute, blackmail and use him as a scapegoat. He also demands the resignation of the Speaker of the House, Yakubu Dogara's Deputy Speaker, Yusuf Lassoun, and 2 other principal officers for attempting to pad up the budget by as much as 30 billion naira. In a swift reaction, however, the House, through its chairman of the House Committee on Media and Publicity, Representative Abdul Razak Namdas, described the accusations as wild allegations against the House and its leaders. He says Representative Jibrin, like any other member of the House, knows that there are conventions and precedents in relation to budgets and projects for principal officers of the National Assembly, and that he was not removed because of his support or otherwise on the immunity bill, as he was not the only one who opposed the bill. The federal government says Nigerians will begin to experience increased power supply in the next few months. The Minister for Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, made the promise at the signing ceremony of the Solar Power Purchase Agreements, PPAs, in Abuja. He says through the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC, 14 solar power purchase agreements, which will potentially add 1,125 megawatts to the national grid, have been signed. Our correspondent, Gloria Umezoke, reports.
The poultry electricity which Nigeria generates have for long been a major concern and disenchantment. From high tariffs to insufficient prepaid meters and the incessant disruption of gas supply to thermal power stations by militants, the nation's power crisis appears endless. However, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing says the signing of solar power purchase agreements to diversify Nigeria's electricity generation mix will bring an unprecedented boost.
Power purchase agreements are the heart and soul of financing power projects. They do not automatically on their own mean that you will have electricity tomorrow. But they indicate that within the next few months, 6, 9, 12, 14, 18 months, depending on the speed of each promoter and developer.
The signing with 14 frontline developers who have a mandate to deliver power plants in 9 states and the Federal Capital Territory has brought a total of $1.75 billion in foreign direct investment.
The result of what we are doing today will be a drastic social and industrial improvement. Millions of jobs will be generated and prosperity will follow.
The Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC is confident this move firms the deadline for steady power supply in the country.
We are in final stages of negotiating a tariff for 2 coal-to-power projects that will be coming around Enugu and Kogi State in the next 18 months.
A fallout of this agreement is the issue of tariff, which the minister emphasizes would always fluctuate. But then he is also certain that the next meeting with the developers would be to switch on the first set of solar plants in the country. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
When the news at 10 returns, African leaders advised to seek other ways of generating revenue to address their rising debt profiles. That's on Business News. Join us again.